Okay, now here's an example of the type of problem I've been talking about before, and we examined it and said, okay, here's the slope, here's the y-intercept based on y equals mx plus b. So with something like this, what you have is another line equation, and you're being asked the same information, but y is not by itself, and those pieces aren't arranged in the right order to see m and b. So what you need to do is use algebra. Talking through it, you'd need to add 6x to both sides, and then you'd have to divide both sides by -5. Let's see what the tutor looks like. Okay, they're going to give us just a hint. They're not going to show us the step-by-step. Although this is pretty much a step-by-step right here if you walk it through. They're saying you have a standard form equation here, and you want to write it into slope-intercept form. Basically what you can do is you can subtract the ax from both sides. That's like adding the 6x to both sides up here, and then they say you have something times y, divide both sides by that, and then you should have y by itself, but one last step is that you're going to want to take that denominator b, and in this example it would be -5 that would get divided, and divide each term by b. So it's basically saying if you have a fraction with one denominator here, it's the same as dividing that denominator into each term on the top. So what I would expect for this example, if we go back to practice, is that when I subtract, or excuse me, if I add 6x to both sides, and then divide both sides by -5, and split it apart, I would expect y equals -6/5 times x plus, excuse me, -6/5 x, I'm having trouble talking here, -6/5 times x, take away 3. This is what I'm expecting. So in the slope position, the m value, I'm expecting -6 divided by 5, and I'm expecting a -3 in the other position. Okay? And then the rest of it's like I described before. The -3 was the value in the b position of the y equals mx plus b. And if it's a minus, you're talking about a y-intercept that goes down 3. Okay, a -3. So that's what we're looking for right there. And then it says recall that the slope was -6/5. Indicate where you would go from there. I'm going to take the blue dot, and I have two choices basically if I want to use those numbers that they've given me. -6/5 directly stated is a rise of -6, which I'm not really rising if it's negative, I'm dropping, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? The 5 below is the run, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, this is counting from the other point, the y-intercept, okay, not from the center, but you're using the slope from another point to move those steps. So I went down 6, 5 to the right, looking pretty good there. Let's say I decided to do it differently. You could have actually done this differently. You could have said, I want to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and imagine that I'm going 5 to the left. So basically, assigning the negative to the bottom, you know, going 5 to the left, okay? I don't know if you remember how the line looked before, but it went through this point over here. Actually, it was down here. It was 5, -9. It's still crossing there, Okay, so going up 6, 5 to the left still creates the same line, but it just generates a different point. Okay, Hawks should recognize either point as being acceptable. So basically any point you could come up with using slope would be acceptable.